Welcome to Half Hearted. My guest today, Nitish Sakhuja. Am I saying that?
Yes,
Sakhuja,
yeah.
who's been on Just for Laughs, a mainstay at the Corner Comedy Club. I feel like you've done like a ton of stuff in Canadian, and you also do acting and.
I put an asterisk on my Just for Laughs.
Okay.
Because I got new faces during the pandemic.
Okay.
And the festival was very small. There was no American comics there, which is, I guess, what we are all fighting for, but we still got paid the same. So
yeah,
it wasn't a blessing like that. And because I never got to like meet everybody I thought I'd, it wasn't what I thought it would be. There was mannequins in the audience,
Oh, it's like, really?
I did Club Soda and there was only like 50 people in there.
Yeah, so it's kind of anticlimactic.
It's, imagine waiting 12 years for something, and then when you get it, it's the worst it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say. I mean, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about that because I feel like that's a like Just for Laughs being canceled. I can't. It's disappointing as a Canadian comic who has no credits, but at the same time, it's not surprising.
I got the credit.
Yeah, you got the credit.
It doesn't really hold.
You don't. Well, and sorry, and so that and that's. It's not to denigrate anybody who gets the credit. Believe me, but it's like. What does it do for? What did you think it would do for you?
I don't know. Well, I thought at the very least, because I've seen it the years prior, and for other people, there's people in the audience who are, people who work in the industry who hold power towards doing certain other showcases or getting on certain late night shows or. Getting a TV show or getting a TV deal or something like that. You know what I mean? Or
well, and so I'm going to turn your mic up for a second. Oh, did I just turn myself up or you?
Is that better? Did you turn yourself up? You might have turned yourself up. I hear you better now.
Yeah, I did turn myself up.
Hello, is that better? I can hear myself now.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
And I turned myself back down.
Okay.
I never have difficulty being heard. That's that's not my problem. I always gotta like shut up during shows. Sorry, we were talking about Just for. Oh yes, that's right. So I remember. Did you watch that documentary, The Comedian, with Jerry Seinfeld and Orny? Yeah. And I remember he would talk about Just for Laughs and
what's the second guy's name you said?
Orny Adams.
Orny Adams.
Orny Adams, right?
I saw him at the comedy the comedy store in LA when I went, not this time, the last time. And dude, this guy, I watched probably like 7 comics on the main stage. This guy murdered like he wasn't just telling jokes about nothing. Like everything he said had something to it. Like it was fucking. It's the comedy I like. You know what I mean? Like he was fucking saying something.
Well, yeah, I mean? And I mean, like if you saw him like a couple years ago, and he was the Comedian came out in the early 2000s, so he's probably been doing comedy like 25 years,
I know,
something
man.
like that.
The skill level, you could just tell, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like honestly, it's I want to get back to Just for Laughs, but to your point, it's when it comes to comedy, man. Experience matters.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, because like there's nobody like I can always tell when somebody's been doing it 10 plus because like those are the guys that make me feel like I got work to do. Those are the people that make me feel like, oh man, like this ain't it takes like the years matter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we're playing different games.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it helps though because I started comedy late. And so it's like, I got to get on this as quickly as I can.
When did you start? How old are you?
I'm 41 and I started at 38.
Okay.
So I started end of May 2021. Like I started in backyards, dude. Like I started like when we were still locked down.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm hard on myself for not being further or not being better. And it's like, dude, this is a journey. Like there's no way to shortcut it.
Absolutely a journey. But I'm 33. I started when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
But when I started, I just dove like head in.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a different time then, man. There was like 5-6 shows a night every night.
Yeah.
You could actually hustle. I was doing like from 10 to 20 shows a week every week.
Yeah. Wow.
And like that's why I still like I'm still doing mics to this day. You know what I mean? You'll catch me at a mic almost every night. I'll try to run around wherever just to try to get on stages. I have a couple places that I frequent because I know I'll get on, you know, but there's still mics. And I'm still there every night because I come from that. Yeah. You know, where that I've done it for so long now that it's like I have to do it. If I'm not doing it at nighttime, whether it's a mic or not, I'm like, what
it's
am I
almost
doing?
Like working out where you feel like if you miss a day, like you're behind.
Exactly. It's like in the morning I get up to go to the gym and I don't want to go to the gym. I don't like working out, but every morning I get up and I fucking put my shoes on and I fucking go. I don't want to do it. Yeah. But I do it just because it's become routine now. I've been doing it for so long, you know?
Do you
Same at nighttime when I go to do comedy, I'm just, whether I have a headache, whether I fucking feel like shit, whether I feel good, doesn't matter. I know I'm gonna go do this tonight, you know?
Yeah. And do you find it because one of the things that kind of scares me off of like just miking all the time is like I'll say to myself like I don't have anything new, so like I should probably like wait to do an open mic until I have something new to like work.
You're wasting time then.
Yeah, you think so?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what the stage is for, because you can write for fucking, you can have all the material in the world, but if you're not going on stage, it matters zero, because at your level right now, you're probably only getting like between 5 to what's the max you're doing right now?
I mean, I'm out 3 or 4 nights a week.
No, I mean like time-wise on stage.
I mean, I'm doing 15 to 20s pretty regularly now.
That's what you're getting?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So if you're only getting 15 to 20 minutes a night to do shows, and you're writing so much, how are you going to have enough time to work on this stuff? You know, it's not. So you need stage time. It matters more than writing, because eventually you get so comfortable on stage that you can just talk about your thoughts without having to worry about having anything pre-written, because you're comfortable in the fact that you're funny. Yeah. And then just talk about it, and then whatever comes out, it'll flow, you know. And it might go bad for a while, but through that you'll find gold, man.
I find, it terrifies me. I find like I always like when I meet the people who are I'm a right on stage type of guy. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like I feel like a lot of it, I might get the odd tag, you know, in the moment or something like that. But I find like I like to like I'm a writer. I kind of like to flesh it all out and then take it to the stage and see what works, see what doesn't, then go back to the drawing board and fix it. And like I kind of tweak that way. Yeah. But I would love to be the type of person that writes on stage. But I think I don't know if I have the confidence yet.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just finding your voice. You know what I mean? Because I never sit down and write. Yeah. I can't even tell you a time that I've
just sat at a computer.
I hate it. Yeah. It fucking reminds me of school. I don't want to do that. You know, I hate it. But I'm about to record my 3rd album. You know what I mean? Like but I write on stage. That's my thing. I'll come up with a thought or something if I want to talk about it during the day, and I'll put a jot note in my phone, like just a topic note, because there's no way I can emulate me being on stage with the adrenaline rushing to me sitting. My mind just doesn't work the same. Yeah, it just won't.
How did you settle into that process?
I just started. I started feeling stuck. Yeah, that I was doing the same material over and over and over again. You know. And I came to this realization that like, so the way I do it now is like, you know, it's been later, like the later parts of my career, and earlier on I was like I was in this rut, and I came to a realization that 99.99% of shows that I do don't matter. Okay. They don't matter. They only matter for me getting the reps in. Yes. Okay. Other than that, I've never done a show where it's changed my life. Yeah, there's been someone in the audience that's like, yo, you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. I've been almost 14 years. I'm still in the mics. You know what I mean? Yep. They don't matter is what I realized. So why waste all that time doing the same thing over and over again? If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. Go fuck around, have fun, experiment, take risks.
Yeah, so there's like a piece that comes with it that eliminates fear.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what.
You know?
Yeah, I see that.
Showcase or not.
I think when you're new, they all matter.
No, but you're wrong.
I'm sure I am, but it feels that way. It feels like they all matter.
But then use that just to get on as many stages as possible. Shift that energy somewhere else. You know,
and just keep. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna take that advice.
Yeah, because stage time over everything.
Yeah,
stage time can do more for you than writing every night.
I don't know if we circle back to this because or maybe we did. I feel like I mentioned it to you, but because I feel like in the fall I ran into you at the lab, and you're like, "Why would you be doing this if you're not having fun?" And I was like, I was not having fun. I was like falling back into depression, like fearing certain mics, like getting in my head. Like I was not in a good place. And when you said that, I was just like, like I need to go back to the drawing board for a sec, because I did love this.
Of course, that's why we get into it. And as soon as you fall out of love with it, it becomes a job, or it becomes something you're forcing. Yeah, and nothing in life comes easy, natural, or fun when you're forcing it.
Yes, absolutely, right. You know? And so I found like once you said that, it kind of made me realize like I need to like go back. I need to take a few steps back and realize like where did I mess up, where I'm at this place where I'm not enjoying it anymore.
Exactly.
I thought that was really helpful. Going back to Just for Laughs, so Orny Adams called it the draft.
The draft. But back then it was a different.
Yeah, it was. It was where if you were an American comic who got to Just for Laughs, that's where you would get your development deal, hopefully. And if you were a Canadian comic, that was basically where you got your agent that would take you into the U.S. Right? And I remember that. And then at some point, that stopped being the case with Just for Laughs.
I don't know when that happened. Because I guess I started too late.
You think so?
Everyone feels they started too late, right? Because I started when I guess I saw the tail end of it kind of mattering. But like as you get further along comedy, you realize that all these people that got these things, nothing has really happened. You know?
Well, do you think that it's like?
Because now, like,
do you think social media is what changed it?
Probably, which is I guess good and bad, but also it's like you can get one viral video on Instagram that if it hits 1 million views, it'll do more for you than that whole festival can do for you.
Yeah. Well, that's what Brad Goss says. He's just like shit out content. He's just like, so many comics are afraid of burning material by posting their clips, but he's like, that one clip could do more for you than that room will. Yeah. Like, why would you rather 30 people laugh in a room or 3 million?
That's why I approach it with the same thing. I just drop, if I have a good clip, and if it's a banger of a joke, whether it's brand new and I'm still working on it doesn't matter. I post it. I don't really post crowd work. I post actual
work, material
that I'm doing. And that's another thing. I'm just like firing it off because I'm gonna just, and some of it's really good and I continue to hone it. Some of it's like, it's done. This is the best I can do with it. Fucking burn it. Because there's two options that happen when you post a video. Either nobody watches it or everybody watches it. Yeah. And either way, it's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if nobody watches it, fuck it. Have confidence and do it every night if you need to. Yeah. Hopefully not, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it does go viral, then that means people are coming to see you now because of that joke. Yeah. And if you are a comedian, worst case, write another joke. You'll be fine. Yeah. Or some people might even ask for it. Yeah. When, they want to hear, I want to hear that joke that he.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like, they're waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's oh shoot, I had a thought there and I lost it.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Sorry. What I was like, a lot of comedians are afraid of I like the atomic habits approach, which is like, the more jokes you write, the more better jokes you'll write, and then you'll have like a lot of comics they'll have a joke that's so, but it's not like they haven't either fixed it, but they're afraid to take it out of their set because it works a little. But because they're afraid to kill their darlings because it's all they have, as opposed to thinking you can just write more jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And like the topics are endless. Like I like to think of it as like in everything there's room for a joke.
Yes,
absolutely everything. Yes. In every topic, in every situation in life, there is always room for a joke. Mm-hmm. Okay. People keep like, I don't know, when you want to write about something and you're like lost on it and you're like, I'm stuck for material, pick a random topic. Yeah. And then just think about what that topic does. Don't even try to be funny. Just like everything you feel or think about that topic. Yeah. Write it down. And then once you have that, because you're going to be like sourcing just what you feel about it. Once you take that and just start talking about it, you'll find that you're a naturally funny guy, and you'll find the fucking humor in it. Yeah. And that's when it starts to hit harder because people are like, this is a thought that like, it's not just like a joke. Like this is an abstract thought that this person had. You know, this is an opinion or an actual feeling.
That's unique to you.
Yes. Yeah. Which is what really makes people, you know. Yeah. You hear someone tell a really good joke and you're like, oh, like because it does something. You know, it's like that's thought out. It's not just like a.
Well, there's so many
A plus B equals C. You know.
Yeah, and I find that there's a lot of times, like a comic will do a joke and you're like, I've had that thought, but I didn't think of it as funny.
Yes. Yeah. They delve into it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I never. Well, and I have this problem where I'll be talking to somebody, I'll tell a story, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's funny. That's a bit. You should talk about it." And it's like sometimes it's hard to recognize the gold in your own life, in your own experience, and it's like it takes somebody else to like bring it out. Like that's why I like to do podcasts. Is like it just brings out thoughts. I don't know. I'm a hyper extrovert, so like I think by talking.
Yeah. That's fucking good, man. Then you know what you should do, instead of like thinking about what's a good story or whatever. I challenge you, go on stage. Yeah. And at least once or twice a week, go up with nothing. Yeah. And just start talking about your day and how you're feeling and just free flow and just watch where it goes, man.
I'm going to do that.
Because even if you get 3 laughs in it, I bet you the 3 laughs will be harder than some of the material you're doing. Yeah. And and they're listening. It's a story. They're following you. Quiet. When an audience is quiet, it's a great thing. You know, people get scared of the silence, but if they're honestly quiet, it means they're listening. Yeah, it means you have their attention. The worst is murmuring.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're bored.
Yes. You hear people kind of talking over here or there, but complete silence, they're listening. And when you have complete silence, the only thing you can do, the best thing you can do with that is fucking hit it with a hard laugh. Yeah. And it feels so much more powerful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I really resonate with that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, and there's part of it because I saw you, we were both at the corner last week, and I just saw like you're talking about like metaphysics on stage, and I'm just like, I gotta talk to this guy. Because it's like I don't know if you have you watched my podcast before? Do you know?
Not too much. I'm sorry, I don't really watch too much.
That's okay. Shit. So like the reason so before I started doing comedy, I had been like an evangelical Christian. Okay. I was.
What is an evangelical Christian exactly?
That's like so under mainstream Christianity, we'll call it.
Sounds evil.
You got evangelical.
Yeah, I know it sounds like holy, but it also has like I don't know in my head.
Evil, there's like Catholics.
I hope I didn't offend evangelicals.
That's fine. There's Catholics, there's like Greek Orthodox, and then there's Protestants, which is like all of like a mega church. Those are all Protestant churches. Okay. So I was like a semi-pro, like Christian praise and worship guitar player, really, and stuff like that. Like I played on big stages in front of big crowds and stuff like that. That was my life before doing this.
Were you getting that evangelical pussy?
No.
Okay.
If you mean like guys asking me about like what pedals I'm using, then sure.
It's not the same as being in a band in high school.
No, I mean the thing about being in the band in church just means you get to get married sooner to the hotter girls.
Okay. It works out.
Yeah, that's right. I got married at 24.
Hell yeah, lost your virginity early, I guess, eh?
I didn't grow. So here's the other thing. I didn't grow up Christian either.
Oh, what'd you grow up as?
Nothing. Ooh. When I was this is where we're gonna
die and everything goes black.
This is where we're gonna connect. Is I did 10 grams of magic mushrooms, and that's when I became like God conscious.
Nice. What? How old are you?
I'm 41. So I was this.
No, when did you do the 10 grams?
Year 2000.
So okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so half your age.
Yeah, I did 10 grams, and that got me like just aware that a God existed, and then I just followed the path, man, and that's where I ended up. So like the first day I went to a church like voluntarily, I met like all the guys that would end up in my wedding party. Okay. And then so when I started but before that, like I said I wanted to be a comedian when I was 8. Like my dream was to be on SNL. I got into university for theater. Really? Eh? And then but I had this experience, and then I went to Bible college instead, and I just like total pivot.
That's cool. When I was a kid, I didn't understand what comedy was.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, no.
Like I'd be like at 8 years old, I was watching cartoons, and I'd be flipping the channels, and like if I put it on channel 44 just for cartoon or comedy network, and it wasn't the gags, I was pissed.
Yeah.
And then it would be this guy talking because Channel 5 said just for laughs.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I knew that was the gags.
Yes.
And then when it was some guy talking, at first I would get pissed.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy? And then as I got a little older, I would listen, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. I don't know what they're doing, but I kind of like that talking guy.
I don't know if it was that I wanted to. It was because when I was, I think when I thought of a comedian, I thought of like a comedic actor.
Okay,
so
like a Jim Carrey or
exactly.
Yeah,
so like Jim Carrey was like my hero because in 1994 I was 12. So 1994 was the year that Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber came out. And I had already been watching in living color before that.
And this is growing up believing in nothing.
Yes.
And your parents were non-believers of anything?
Yeah, they weren't anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you ever ask about life or anything to them? What would they tell you?
No, you know what? It's just like God stuff never really came up. I remember my mom sent me. Yeah, go for it. My mom sent me to my brother and I went to like a Christian camp when I was like 10, 11-ish.
By accident?
It was like we had family friends who were also going to the camp. So we weren't going there because it was a Christian camp. We were just going to our friend's camp.
Yeah.
And so like
we'll deal with the Christianity when we're there.
Yeah, like they just, I don't think they really cared or like, it's a week. So it's not like my kid's going to come back a Bible thumper, although they try.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think I had like a concept of God, but then in the 90s, like things were very anti-church, anti-God. Like Gen X was really... like the grunge like that whole period was.
I used to say I was raised as a Hindu, but I used to say the same thing.
Yeah,
there's no God.
There's no God. I'm my own God. Stuff like that, and and then you do mushrooms, and you're like, oh, there might be a little bit more to this whole thing.
Mushrooms made when I was 17. I did 7 grams, and I was raised a Hindu, but I also didn't I was fairy tales and stuff. I don't know, but then when I did mushrooms, I was like, man, I came out of mushrooms saying there is no God.
Interesting.
But I spent like 5 hours crying into the sun. not completely, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were in this beautiful park. It was a beautiful day. I went through so many emotions, so many revelations. But I came out saying, man, I don't believe in God anymore. And I remember saying that to my friends, and they're like, yo, what's wrong with you? Because I did it with my cousins.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not until like the last few years of doing mushrooms where I realized what I was like. I was just like, I just didn't understand anything, but I still don't understand, but I don't know if we call it God, but it's an energy. There's a divine energy that is within everything.
Like if I use the word source, does that like ring true? Because it's almost like the experience you had, you were like, you didn't realize it at the time, but you were saying it's not that God.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then, and that story, and just to go back, we were talking about, it's like, so I started doing comedy, and then I'm meeting, like, it's every other comic that has like a religious background. I'm like, and I wanted to do a podcast because I wanted to do a podcast, but I kind of didn't know what to talk about or orient around. I'm like, I meet all these people who have these religious backgrounds. I'm like, that's what I want to talk about. How do all these people end up here?
So what are you now?
So
when did you leave evangelicalism?
So basically, like, going into the pandemic, I was already depressed.
Okay.
So I basically told myself that if I could get a job that paid the bills, I could have a family, and I could pay for the stuff I like to do outside of my job, which is, playing guitar and doing all that I would be happy. And for a while that worked. Like, I got the girl, I got a job, I got the house, I got my kids. And then I got to this place where it was like, oh, I achieved the things that I wanted, because like I come from a very broken home. My parents are like divorced when I was 7. It was rough. And so like my whole dream was to just have the family that I was never able to have. But then when I had it, I was like, oh, I need to do a job that I hate to keep it going. To maintain the life that I have, I need to keep going to this place that steals my soul. Yeah. And so I was already in a rough patch, and I just like, have you seen the Jim and Andy documentary on Netflix, the Jim Carrey one?
Yeah.
Where he talks about his dad, and where he says my dad was like a really funny guy, great musician, too afraid to go to the U.S., took the safe route, became an accountant, got laid off at 55, and he's like, I realized that you can fail at what you don't love, so you might as well do what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good. I didn't remember that one, but that's a good one.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like people have been telling me to do comedy like my whole life, and I was too afraid to do it. and I was like, I think it's now or never. And I had been away from church because of the pandemic. I kind of got some space from it, and it was like, where I am now is, I would say I'm a Christian, but I don't think many church-going Christians would agree with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I believe in a God, and I think that Jesus is the most important person who ever lived. Where they're talking animals, is the Bible like literally 100% true? I don't know. I don't know about that. Like,
anyone who says they know for certain doesn't know shit.
Exactly, right? And it's more, and it's like, I have this issue with, like, the thing with evangelical churches is, like, you have these churches that they get people to come because the pastor's really charismatic and a good speaker, but that gives him a lot of power, and eventually it gets abused and the church gets destroyed.
Every time.
It happens all the time, over and over and over. And I'm just like, I think there's something broken in how we do church. And I'm like, I think that I would love for people to, like, engage with God, but it's like the Christianity club in North America, most people don't want to be a part of.
I think people keep looking outside for answers that are inside.
I mean, I think yes and no, because I think also, like, I think that there's still an advantage to the Bible. It's still an important book. It's still the underlying
for sure
document of the West, right?
You could say that about every book out there. I think religion is needed to keep the world at bay, you know, because without it, if they were to admit or find out right now that every religious thing is wrong, let's just say that were to come out, the world will be in chaos. Do you understand that? It keeps people at bay.
Yes.
It gives people a sense of
well, I think that we do well with guardrails.
Yes, but I think human consciousness needs to evolve all around.
Well, it's more like, it's like we have these imperfect systems to like.
I think everyone's always looking again back for outside answers or someone else to blame, but everything can be like, you know.
Yeah.
We have the answers inside. You just got to take the time to, like, relax, take all the negative thoughts away, and just fucking breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just think.
Well, it's like, I feel like with religion, it's like you're trying to take something concrete and tangible and apply it to something that isn't, right? Like Pete Holmes.
There's some good lessons and shit that come out of it. Oh, for sure.
Like Pete Holmes had this guy named Richard Rohr on his podcast, who's like a Franciscan monk. And he was talking about how, like, literal truth is like the most basic form of truth. Like, literal truth is great when you're building a bridge, right? But it's like, can you really apply science to beauty or morality or things like that? Yeah. And it's like, I don't think religion was ever designed. But I feel like, with the rise of science and atheism, religion feels the need to compete in that same arena when it was never meant to do so.
And people will push it because, just like you were talking about, there's certain people, like, not every priest, pastor, pundit is evil.
No, of course not.
Some of them, and a lot of them, it's been exposed, a lot of them are they want people to be religious because it benefits them.
Yeah, right. Well, that's just it, right? It's like, if you converted somebody, if you were a part of somebody getting converted, like, that's huge points.
That's big points,
right? Like, in Jehovah's Witnesses, they have, like, lists. They track how many people did you get to, how many houses did you visit, how many people did you get to come. Like,
you're not going to heaven, but we got you a vacation to Cuba.
Yeah, or something. Right. It's like, if I'm going to talk to somebody about God or Jesus, it's because, like, I genuinely care about them. Like, those are deep discussions. Like, and you're going to try to have that deep discussion with a stranger who doesn't know or trust you. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
How did growing up, like, what's it like growing up Hindu? Because, like, I grew up in Thornhill, so I grew up with, like, a lot of different people, and, like, I found a lot of my Hindu friends, like, didn't grow up with a lot of the same, like, purity culture hangups that people who grew up in, like, Christianity did.
Like what?
Like, I have my buddy Nitin, who was like, yeah, it's like blowjobs, like fooling around with girls, like, that's all fine with us as long as you don't have actual sex. So he's like, everything else is on the table. I'm like, that sounds way easier.
I think, well, that's just that guy. I think every single person's moral compass varies. You know, Like in almost all religion, you're not supposed to have sex or do any of that stuff at all.
Well, I mean, it is the act that creates life. So like I always say, like handle it with care.
Yeah, of course, in every aspect, but it's everyone's moral compass is different. That's just that guy.
Okay.
Because he got a couple blowjobs, so he's telling you it's okay.
Well, he was, having not knowing anything about, I know very little about Hinduism, so I was like, just took his word for it. But like, what is it like growing up? Like,
it was cool. My parents weren't super strict.
Yeah.
Hindus. We followed some of the rules. Like we couldn't eat meat on like Wednesdays or Thursdays or something growing up, but just in the house.
Yeah.
So I would still eat if I was at school. I'd eat a burger or whatever. You know, just don't bring it in the house. There's stuff like that. We went to the Mandir, the temple. We went there, once a week maybe.
Yeah.
And like it was a huge place, and all the parents were upstairs in the main hall where the prayer happens, but the kids are running around playing cops and robbers all over the building. Like I wasn't in it for the religious aspect of it.
There was no Hindu Sunday school.
Yeah, there was. I was in it for a bit, and I would ask to go to the washroom and then just go wait outside for my dad to pick me up for 2 hours.
Okay.
And then
you were never into it.
I was never really into it. I did it like most kids do religion because our parents make us do it, But it's the only one I knew.
Yes.
So I knew nothing about. People tell me things about Christianity like it's like everyone should know it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that because I was never raised with it.
Yeah.
All I know about Christianity and Judaism mostly is what I've learned from the Rugrats and Simpsons. Okay, because they taught me all the stories and all the little, and that's how I learned. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I kind of get what this guy's talking about. That's the reference, I connected the dots, but I was never really too into it. But it was what I believed, so I knew the stories a bit. I've heard it over and over again.
So if somebody asked you like, what is Hinduism, what would you tell them?
I would say I'm not qualified to tell you that. Yeah.
Really?
Because I don't want to disrespect it. So I don't want to, I don't know enough.
Yeah.
Because I never in my life took the time to inquire, and that's my bad.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not the guy to ask for that.
No, that's okay. Like I just like talking about it, but it is interesting. I met so many people, especially kids who they'll grow up in a faith, but come out not really knowing much about it.
Yeah.
And mostly because they resented it.
Yeah. But I know it involves, if you go into it, it involves spaceships and people coming from space.
I know there's blue guys and multiple arms.
Yeah, those are the different deities.
Yeah.
But man, they believe in like space great weapons that were used to fight, like I'm talking, and it connects to stories like Anunnaki shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like everything is so much, like we're so lost. We know nothing, man.
I know. Doesn't it feel that way? Like we're just
absolutely
like I think
it made me feel comfortable because as a kid I grew up thinking when you get these adults walking around, they know everything.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to just walk around.
Because
this curiosity that I have about everything eventually will stop. Because how can you function as a human if you can't stop thinking like this?
Yeah, it's almost like
but it didn't stop
with my, like when I struggling with my faith now. It's almost like I look into the abyss of the confusion, and I find peace in it, in the sense of like I'm just like I give up.
Yeah,
like it's almost in the surrender that you find the peace. Let's say, okay, like I don't get it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
dude. That's like my first thought every morning when I wake up.
Yeah,
it's literally like, what's going on, dude? You know, and I have to get mentally over that before I can start my day.
Yeah,
you know.
Do you ever get perplexed by just existence?
It never affects me to that extent where I'm like upset or lost over it.
Not upset or lost, but just to contemplate. We're just here. What is this thing?
That's every day, constantly, every moment. And that's what I'm constantly thinking about. Where it's like, that's where a lot of my material recently has been.
Well, I noticed. That's why I wanted you on.
Because like, my goal has always been to just talk about what things that matter to me, you know, because if you go back to my first album, it's very just like jokes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just jokes, you know,
which is fair.
Yeah. But it was just how I knew how to write,
yeah.
You know? And then my second album kind of like more kind of I started to delve into topics that I felt a little bit more, but it was still pretty jokey.
Yeah.
You know, but this is the first time first time in my career that I could say this, that I feel like, man, I'm just on one right now, you know, or I'm just fucking free flowing. I'm just talking about whatever comes to my head.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun.
How do you, so when you you'll do stream of consciousness, and then what? You'll find something that you like in it, or something that hits, and then you'll just keep going on that one. Like, how do you navigate where to invest your time? Because like, you can get a joke. Like, I find I'll get those moments where the muses will bless me with like a joke, but a joke isn't a bit, right? So how do you go from having like something that hits to something that's an extended piece? Do you just keep working it?
Yeah, it just depends on when you say it, you'll know if it's just a throwaway line that you can continue to use, or if it's like a real topic that you can. But that's everything. No matter, it's up to really you how you want to, because you can deep dive into anything.
Yeah.
You can turn anything into a subreddit if you really want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can find the niche in any topic. It just depends how deep you want to go into it.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it just fizzles out because you're just beating it.
Yeah.
You know. But if you give it time, and then on a random day when you pull a joke out, the muse is literally like, "Yo, take this one too." You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just matches perfectly.
I've heard you talk about being an unsafe minority. Is that like fair? Is that accurate? Am I not using the right phrase?
I don't know what that means. I'm not safe.
No, like
someone coming for me.
In the sense of like you have an Indian background comic, but you're not like, you don't talk about being Indian.
Oh yeah, that's why they don't want to put me on TV.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me what that, like. I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
So like, what does that mean? What do you like?
I don't know. It's just,
I feel like I made you uncomfortable.
No. At the same time, I dropped my vape and I was like, oh no, my vape. That made me more uncomfortable. No, it's just, I don't know, man. I get I know I'm funny.
Yes.
You know, I know I'm funny, and I know I can do shit, and I know I've missed opportunities because people are like, I don't trust what he's gonna say on stage. You know, because I do kind of walk the line, and I kind of.
I mean, why? Like, I feel like if you didn't become a comic to make people kind of gasp a little, like, why?
Yeah, but that's not what industry in this country wants.
Yes.
You know, it's not what's on the agenda here.
So what have your interactions with the industry been? And when you say industry, do you mean entertainment in general, or just the comedy?
Yeah,
industry?
It's like everything has to be super clean. Yeah. Everything has to be watered down. Like,
yeah.
I did my joke about I have this joke about how I found out I'm Afghani.
Okay.
Because I did a 23andMe.
Yeah.
And I got my DNA results, and the joke goes, it makes sense that I'm Afghani because, you know, my face, I'm pretty Afghani, you know. I love to have meat that's spun around a fire. You know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty rude to women, you know.
Yeah.
And I hate my government.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the whole joke.
Yeah.
And then I got that joke back. I did it on CBC, but I got the joke back for Winnipeg Comedy Festival. Mm-hmm. And I took out the I'm pretty rude to women part, and I wasn't allowed to say I hate my government. I was. Yeah. They had to change it to I oppose my current government, or not my. I oppose my government.
Are you on Winnipeg this year?
I did it last year.
Okay. But they'll send you notes on what they want you to change.
Oh yeah, and then you can certain things they'll let you pass, but then it's just edited out.
Oh.
The power of editing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's.
But it was a super fun festival. Like, but it was also like my first real festival I ever did in this country because Just for Laughs didn't count.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. They treated me awesome. But that's not like if the other shows I did for them, I was let it fly, do whatever you want. But it's just because it was a CBC taping.
Yeah, you got it.
It's the one day I knock on wood. I hope to get a real taping, like outside of my own albums, because I can say whatever the fuck I want when I do those. But I'd love to get a taping for something that matters.
Yeah, that you don't have to.
Yeah, where they're like, yo, do whatever the hell you want, dude.
Yeah,
you know. because that would be
but it's like you hear and then you wonder if that's even possible, because like didn't Netflix tell Schultz like there was a joke that he couldn't do and that's why he took it?
But that's also, if I'm on that level too, then it doesn't really matter anymore. You know, whereas right now it would be an opportunity for me.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But I just feel very it's like when they see an Indian guy, they're like, okay, now give us Indian stuff.
Yes. Which is in a sense racist.
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know, I feel very neglected by this country as a whole, by the entertainment industry, because I feel very underrepresented, you know? And like, I've been here my whole life. There's tons of guys like me. Yeah. TV in the terms of Indian people went Apu. Yeah. Straight to that Big Bang guy. Characters like him. They went from appeasing and making fun of our parents to the new immigrants. Yeah. And appeasing the international students and the new guys coming over.
Do you think
Russell, and they skipped over. There's a whole generation of us that are not represented on television. Yeah. You ever seen a guy like me on TV?
No, never. You never should just you can't just be like you have to be Indian.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Like tied to it somehow. Yeah.
I can't be just a lawyer. I can't just be a detective. I have to be an Indian detective. Yeah. That's Russell Peters. That's your answer for that, right?
Yeah. There. Well, that's what I was going to say. Was Russell Peters an anomaly, or did he talk because he talked about his dad?
He did all Indian stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was all race and Indian stuff. That's what it was. You can be an Indian guy who talks about Indian stuff.
Okay. But so yeah, and that's what I mean though, is that it's racist, because you've been like, my lineage is like German, Irish, French. I have zero connection to any of those countries. So like, if I was to do a taping, they're like, you don't talk about enough German stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, why would I?
Exactly. It's insane. But even when you watched me that day on stage, how many times did I talk about Indians or do an Indian accent or do any?
None.
Not once. Because when I first started, I used to write jokes about my dad and my growing up, and it was a lot of Indian jokes, right? And I remember I showcased for Yuck Yuck so many times. I wanted it so badly. Yeah. And then probably on like my 10th. No, I did like 12 showcases for them. Yeah. This was early. This was like my 5th showcase. Earlier on. Like that. I remember I did it. I had a great set. I did jokes about my dad at the time. Yeah. And I'm waiting downstairs. Breslin's coming around. Yeah. Taking people upstairs, the ones he wants to talk to. Yeah. I don't get chosen. Yeah. And then I'm like, fuck. But then I just wait around till the end of the show. Everyone leaves, and I still stick around. I'm just waiting in one of the booths, waiting for Breslin to come downstairs so I could ask him, like, yo, I don't care if you didn't pick me, but can you just, like, yo, what'd you think? You know, give me some thoughts. Yeah. You know, because I wanted to sign with Yuck so bad at this time. It's like maybe 4 years in, 3 years in. And then, no, not 4 years, 3 years in. Sure. And then this guy comes downstairs, and I'm like, hey, Breslin, can you know, what do you think? And he goes, yeah, great. But Russell did it already. You know? Okay. And then he just walked away from me. And then I was like, what? And I had already got this I was getting from people, oh, you're only funny because you're an Indian guy. You're only funny because you make jokes about Brampton. That's what I was getting a lot of from people. So I had this fucking moment where I was like, yo, am I funny because I'm an Indian guy, or am I funny because I'm funny? Yes. So then I was like, okay, I want to be able to, like, take a chair, for example. I want to be able to make fun of that chair without putting an accent on that chair. Yeah. Or talking about being Indian at all. Yeah. So I made it a fucking purpose to not do the Indian accent and not do Indian jokes anymore. Yes. Okay. And that was year 3. So up till recently, even till now, I don't feel comfortable doing it because it's in my subconscious. He fucked me, you know? Yeah. It makes me question if I'm funny.
Well, you know what? You're not. I've talked to other Indian comics, and they've said something similar. I want to get away from talking about just being Indian. I want to just be able to talk about whatever as me, and that be enough. Yeah. You know? But I think if that makes you different from the culture you're at large, it's like it's hard not to. But then a lot of them use that phrase. It's a crutch, in a sense, in their writing. So yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm just trying to be I want to be great comedian.
Yes.
I don't want to say he's a great Indian comedian, one of the best Indian comedians. I want to just be great.
Yes.
I don't want to be put in a subreddit.
Yeah.
I want to be on Reddit.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm working towards. And now as I've gotten funnier, I know if I do pull out an Indian accent, I'm going to utilize it so much better than just when I drop it, it's going to fucking hit.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be a fucking me doing my dad. When I do my dad's voice, I don't even put the accent on really. I just, this is what my dad said. Yeah. And I say it as myself.
Because and I think that's cool. It's just, in a sense, it's kind of sad though, because it is still who you are. You should be able to like censor because you think it doesn't make me unique, but it is also part of you at the same time.
But I feel like it's made me funnier. Yeah. Because it's forced me to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know? Because now I have to search somewhere else. Because then when I told myself I'm going to do that and you start doing it, you're like, shit, I was using that as a crutch.
Yeah.
And now it's literally forcing me to fucking reach for fucking random shit, you know?
Did you ever end up getting signed by Yucks?
No.
Do you care now?
No, absolutely not. I would never work for someone that tells me I can't work for someone else.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard that.
I ain't no bitch.
Well, and especially in a place where there's so few opportunities as it is. Mm-hmm. Like, exactly. It's not like we have like a glut of clubs to choose from. Yeah,
it's bullshit. That's why, get out of here. Just fucking get out of this country.
So where are you, like, that's the one thing I like to talk about in the podcast is like, so you grew up spiritually, kind of apathetic to Hinduism. So what turned you on to spirituality now? Like, where are you now?
Well, it's because I was 17 years old. I did mushrooms, and then my journey began. My life literally flipped upside down.
How so?
Everything I thought was wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I learned in that trip. So then my attitude towards school changed. My attitude towards higher learning changed, you know, because I thought I was going to go be an accountant, fucking start a hedge fund with my brother, you know, like I thought
Did he end up doing that?
Well, he's a very successful financial guy, something you know. And the plan was I was gonna do it too, and then we'll be brothers and we'll start a hedge fund. It'll be sick, you know, like we're gonna make some money. But then I'm like, dude, I get that, but like, what's the purpose of all this? And then that's just like, I literally like, I battle with it every day. It's like, what am I doing? What are we doing? But try to just do the things that make me joy and try to fucking come at everything with good energy. But it's hard. It's a fucking battle.
Did you start to reform your own beliefs in terms of like metaphysics? Like you were saying, like you used to say that there's no God, but there's something else. Like, how do you think it works? I just love hearing people like, how do you think this all like?
Well, I break it down from, this is what I believe, that like science works for some stuff because it makes sense in some aspects. Yes. But then the higher you go and the deeper you go, it breaks down, you know, which is like, okay, energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transferred.
That's right. Energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Yeah, that's like right. Newton's first law or second law or whatever. So
I think it's the first law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, or whatever it is. It's a fucking law. It can never be destroyed, which means everything we do takes energy.
Yes.
Okay. Even to have a thought, thinking is energy. Mm-hmm. Okay. That thought that you are having is energy, and that energy is real. It doesn't just fucking fizzle out when you have it. It can never be destroyed. It gets transferred somewhere. It gets transferred into our reality.
Yes.
You know, that's why people say it's true. You can literally, you are what you think. You know, you can literally manifest shit because it takes energy to think. It takes energy to be you.
Yes.
So when you die, what happens to that energy?
Yeah.
It doesn't just fucking fizzle out. It can't. That's not possible.
Yeah. It's got to
go somewhere, and so it gets transferred. There's certain ways you can transfer that energy, and we do it.
Yes.
In a sense that like you get cremated, they cremate you. Your body goes through the combustion. You turn into carbon. Trees fucking eat you.
Yeah.
You fucking release oxygen. You might be the fucking first breath a squirrel takes after literally busting a nut, or the first breath a child takes. It's just a cycle of energy. You get buried, you decompose back into the earth, you grow mushrooms, and something eats you. You know, it's just a cycle. So you'll always be here. Your energy will always be here. Not necessarily in this form, but a part of you, and your energy will always be a part of whatever is going on. Yeah. It's just a cycle.
Do you have any do you believe in any form of afterlife?
I don't know what to I just know that this is not the whole ride.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe in that saying that we are just the universe experiencing itself in a human way.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah. To me,
because we're all the same. We may look different, but our source energy is the same energy.
Well, and going back to that concept of source, which is energy cannot be created and destroyed, and yet we live in a universe full of it, right? And so to me, it's like I can't get rid of God. I just can't, because it's like, where did the initial one come from? If we live in a universe that started.
I'm very comfortable with exactly what you're saying. I agree exactly. I just wouldn't call it God because of the context that we as society have labeled God.
Yeah, okay.
So I would say just the higher power, you know, the fucking something.
Yeah.
The something that
the source.
The thing that I give thanks to.
Yeah.
When I remember.
I feel like we're in this time in life, though, where I feel like people are a little bit more open to God, more so than they were in the past, especially in the 90s and in the 2000s. I think now more than ever, I feel like people are very comfortable. Like, I used to be in certain circumstances, like, kind of nervous to tell people I was a Christian, because if I did, people would make like a stink face, or they would want to debate me. Like, it was kind of a thing. It wasn't that I was ashamed of it. It was more just like, if I tell people, it's going to be a thing.
It's the same thing as someone saying I'm a Muslim or I'm a Hindu. Yeah. It's just, you know what's the best answer? I'm a person of God.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm a God guy.
Yeah, I'm a God guy.
I'm a God guy. That's what I go with.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. When people ask me, what are you? I'm like, I believe in the mushroom.
The mushroom works.
Yeah, there's something going on, you know?
Yeah, there's more than what this is.
Because the mushroom, I feel like when you eat it, it's like the mushroom experiencing human life. That's why you're like, whoa, my hands.
Yeah. You know? Or it's just the way that the mushrooms give you that ability to see things differently. Yeah. That change in perspective is so refreshing. Because have you seen
how they connect to the ground and to each other?
Yeah, like a network.
All over the world. Like, it's, dude, that was a gift from the universe.
The way that it all works, it just works together. Right? Like, the weird thing about this reality is the fact that, like, it makes sense. It all works. There is no magic so far, right? It just works like a machine. But machines are designed, right? Like, it's just,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we found aliens and they were just other humans.
Yeah. Well, and that was, I had this crazy thought yesterday. It's like, the human body's pretty good in terms of, like, morphology, right? Like, we got these feet to move around and legs to move around. We got these hands.
It's all just a suit. Like, you are, when your dad busted his nut.
Yes.
Okay. You were a little sperm, and you are still that little guy that has grown. Have you ever seen that picture of a brain pulled out? So it's like a brain
cut in half.
No, it's a brain. It's connected to your spine, your spinal cord, and it just has a bunch of nerve endings.
Like the nervous system. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of, and that's literally, if you look at it, it's just a little. It's a grown it's a little tadpole that has grown into this thing, and it's inhabiting the egg that it went into, the body shell. That's what the women give us. They give us the shell, and it goes into it. It's literally like connecting Power Rangers getting into their suit.
Whoa.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never thought about that.
That's all it is. It's a little sperm cell controlling this suit.
This is the suit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never thought about that.
It's crazy. That's all we are.
But I got,
it's us getting into our little transformer.
But I'm just so glad that it's like this. Like, imagine if, like, humanity, like, evolved to have, like, T-Rex arms.
It did. Something did at one point.
So I know, but like we could have. Like imagine how different the world. Like Hitler would be a lot less intimidating if it was just this.
Well, blessed. Well, honestly, there's some people born with T-Rex arms, and we're blessed that
Yeah, that's true. I worked at a summer camp when I was in university, and there was a guy, one of the parents, who had those arms, and his randomly generated government license plate was ARMZ.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Did he get extended like sticks to drive?
No, he was. You know what? I didn't poke my head into the car, but I saw that his license plate said arms. I'm like, how did he not ask for a new one?
That's funny.
Yeah.
How do you know it was natural?
Because it was like arms and then 3 numbers.
Maybe it was like maybe there was 3 lucky numbers.
If he asked for that, then he is hilarious. Yeah. If he asked for that license plate, then that's like awesome. Either possibility is hysterical.
That's so funny.
Right? It's like the proctologist asking for ass man, right? Like that's
that's good.
That's the most brilliant license plate ever.
Ass man is good.
Like I can come home and show your wife, look at my arms mobile.
My problem with having a custom plate is that people know it's your car, and I guess that's what people want. But I think it's what you want at first, but then people know it's your car.
Yeah.
Like I used to work at this place that you could park across the street. Mm-hmm. And it was at the time where Chief Bill Blair came on TV saying, there's a bunch of fake parking tickets going around. If it's not from the city of Toronto, you can rip it up.
Yeah.
He literally said that on TV. And I was like, hell yeah, that was the confidence I needed, brother.
Yeah.
So I started parking in this parking lot because they would give us these fake tickets.
Yes.
And I would just rip it up and toss them. But my car at the time, I was driving a Cavalier, an old Cavalier.
Okay.
But when I bought it, it had this sticker of a grizzly bear on the back of it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it off.
Okay.
So it was just got this car for $1,200. Whatever. I'm riding it till it dies.
Yeah.
That grizzly bear was there. But every day I would park, and I would park with all my coworkers. But every day I was the only one that got a ticket.
Because they knew
the fucking grizzly bear. If I didn't have it, it would have blended in with the other cars. But they saw that fucking grizzly bear every day, so they gave me a fucking ticket, and I would just throw it out. A year later, got a knock on my door, and I got served. I got sued for $12,000 in unpaid parking tickets from that fake company.
But were they actually allowed to sue you?
Well, we went to court. We went to small claims court, and then we settled on $700.
Nice. But still,
yeah. But I blame that fucking, and that's the lesson I learned.
Yeah.
Where I will never make something on my car so familiar that you'll always know it's mine.
I mean, we live in a city where parking's at a premium, so you don't need that shit. I got a ticket the other day.
I'll tell you what I do afterwards.
I mean, I have an old friend who he would just he went to university and he had it all budgeted out perfectly, except for the only shortfall was the parking. So his solution was just to grab other people's tickets and put them on his car.
And it works sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's usually the same cop working a couple rounds. And he's like, I didn't give this car a ticket.
Yes.
Then you get 2 tickets.
I think at a university, it's a little harder, right? It's not like a street. It's a big lot. So, I think it worked there. But did you do Humber? I can't remember. No, you didn't. No, did you do university or college?
I went to University of Waterloo for math and business.
Whoa.
And I dropped out after a year and a half.
Okay.
And then I went to Seneca at York for television broadcasting.
Okay.
Got my degree in that and then did nothing with it.
Yeah.
And I did it because I was 2 years into comedy and my parents were so mad that I dropped out of university for comedy that
you just did it to...
I did it to appease them to get some sort of diploma, degree, or paperwork.
Yeah, I got a history degree. Useless.
But I knew at the core of my core, I still know to this day, there's nothing else I want to do but stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So it has to work out. It fucking better work out because I don't know. It's been 13 years. I don't know how to do anything else.
Well, what's next for you? Well, because you've done are there any more mountains to climb in Canada for you?
I feel trapped in a basement in Canada.
Yeah.
Working on my visa. I should have it very soon.
Nice.
I'm doing it with Comedy Records.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my album with them next. It should be out or I'm gonna record it in August.
Yeah, where are you gonna record? Do you know yet?
I don't know yet.
Cool.
Finalizing a venue, but yeah, I'm gonna try to, cause I've learned to not. If you get a festival, enjoy it.
Yeah,
have fun, do it, but it's not, doesn't mean anything, and don't be mad when you don't get it, because be happy for the person when I got Winnipeg last year.
Yeah,
and it was such a fun time, my first festival in all my years, that it's like, what am I gonna get mad that I didn't get it this year?
Yeah.
And it made me realize that, man, it's just a fun opportunity. When it comes your way, enjoy it. Be happy for other people that they get to enjoy it when it happens. But it doesn't matter. So I got to write my own goals that mean something to me. So I'm going to try to do an album every year.
Whoa. You know? That's ambitious.
And that's just
like full 40s or like half an hour?
45s. Yeah. And that's just on me.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't need anybody's outside acceptance. I don't need to get accepted into anything. I don't need anything from anybody else. I just need stage time.
Yeah.
And I'm as much of it as possible. That's why you'll see me out every night.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's tough to be out every night in my situation.
No, I get it. Exactly. I'm blessed cuz it's just me and my girl, and she understands what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And
well, and that's tough to find too.
Yeah.
Cuz I've talked to guys who are kind of like reticent to people who want to pursue the online route more than the on stage comedy route, because it's like it's rough, it's a grind.
Yeah, we'll see what it is, but the thing is, in 10 years we'll see who's still doing comedy then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Craig Fay told me that. He's just like, the biggest thing about people who make it and people who don't are just the people who fucking stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really took that to heart.
Yeah, man. Cuz like I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say. I lost the thought.
You were just talking about like sticking with it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Doing it every night, the coming up with like doing an album every year.
Yes.
Coming up with the 45 minutes of jokes isn't the hard part. It's the honing it and making it cohesive and good, which is the hard part. So just trying to do it every night, but again, I'm fortunate enough to be able to. I understand everyone.
Well, I mean, I think we're at very different places, but I always like to talk to people who are further up the road, right? Because they can tell you things that you might not anticipate or see coming.
I'm also only 33, so I'm younger. I have less responsibility.
Yeah. Well, you got plenty of time, but I mean, like I said, I'm not going to rush it. Even if like what CK said, like 25 years, that's like when you're good, right?
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, well, for me,
it's a longevity game.
Yeah. So
Morgan Freeman didn't make it till he was like 60 or some shit. No?
Yeah, and I, with the day job I have the potential to retire at like 55. So that's like a lot of time where I can dedicate myself. My kids I have kids, like all the stuff that exactly. Right, like a lot of the stuff that comics have yet to achieve, I've already done.
Yeah.
Right, so then I can just keep going. I can go at comedy more so because
and it only takes one of these fucking clips to go viral to change everything.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, and you know what? The truth is, like, my podcast clips don't do like the best. Some of them will really hit, and some of them won't. I find like the videos where I'm just like me looking at my phone will do way better. But it's just like, I just love this. I really love just sitting down with people and having a good conversation. Having a good conversation. No phones. Just hanging out and getting to know people and talking about things that like matter and like are deep, dude. And like I try not to like Christianize it, but I just like, I don't know. Nobody talks about really like the deep stuff.
Yeah, God and questions that make people think about their actual fears, because we all think deep down, we all want to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, man.
And when it just makes some people so uncomfortable that they don't know, that they have to hide it in work and reality television and fucking their favorite artist.
Well, I say this all the time. It's like, I think that's why we're so desperate to find aliens, because we're just hoping.
They're already here, dude.
We're hoping they'll tell us.
We're probably aliens.
I don't know. I gotta say, I'm kind of like, I'm all over the place. I think sometimes I think we might be alone. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, and this UFO stuff.
It's just maybe we're just of this earth, and like we're not outside of it, and we are like the cycle of energy. You just cycle back.
Well, and
there's some beauty in that too, you know.
Well, I think this is part of the Christianness that I had to let go of, was the fact that like it's like you're so focused on like the Bible is true, this is true, it's got to be true, and it's more like, well, if whatever the truth really is fine, because that's what it is, right? Like why fight it? Right? It's like if evolution is true, you've got all these like Christians who are like, we've got to make the world like 6 to 10,000 years old, and it's like, and if it's not, then the whole Bible is not true, and then there's no Jesus, and like
that's what they're fighting. So it skews your bias when you're fighting for something.
That's
like
right,
that,
and then you've got to put aside things that you like. The evolution thing is pretty hard to argue with at this stage, and it's like you got to put them aside. Like in I'm not Mormon, but in the Mormon Latter-day Saints faith, they call it putting it on your shelf. You have some sort of doubt, something that doesn't work, just put it on your shelf, right? But like eventually, the shelf can only take so much before it breaks.
It's true.
So,
I think because we don't know, we may never know. All you can do is just fucking be kind, bro. Be kind. Show compassion. It's hippie shit.
Yeah,
it's all about love.
And I don't
good
know.
Energy.
The not knowing is kind of what makes it beautiful, right? It's like if we did know, what would it be? Like if you knew 100% there was a God and like there's a hell or something like that, like what would your existence be like then?
Yeah, then
right? Then you live a life out of like fearful servitude.
People wouldn't go through this journey then. People would probably just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm starting the next journey, and just kill themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the not knowing is like part of the deal.
Yeah.
Right? I think the suffering is part of the deal.
Journey of self is it's like when you get there, you're gonna be like, so what'd you learn?
Yeah.
You're getting in no matter what. Just what'd you learn though?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's like every near-death experience, there's always like a life review.
Yeah, that's like Hindus say you keep doing it until you get it right.
That to me is hard.
But if you do it badly, you come back as like, some people will be reincarnated as like a snake or as a spider or a fruit fly.
Yeah. Well, then the journey's a little bit faster. You can move back up.
No, but then it gets a little easier to get back up to being a human again, but then
I mean, human's pretty tough. I don't know if I want to do this again.
I don't know. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
I mean, I'm glad I don't know that though. Yeah. Knowing, like, do you ever watch The Good Place? Do you ever watch that show?
That's a cool one.
I loved it, right? Yeah. But like knowing, like when they find out that they're actually, it's an old show that's over now, so I'm not spoilers to anybody. But like when they find out that they're finding out that they're in the bad place, like over and over and over and over and over again, to find out that you've done it 1,000,000 times before and you just found out now, it's like, oh, that's even worse.
It's never ending.
Yeah,
but just for a moment, because then you'll forget.
Yeah, then you'll forget. Then you'll be back in it.
Then there's a blessing in that.
Well, dude, we're at about an hour, and thanks for coming out. This is good. We just talk, man. I really appreciate you coming out and your insights on comedy, man. Like I'm always struck by them. So I really appreciate it.
It's just, man, if you're not having fun, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because then you're just making it bad for everybody else, including yourself.
Yeah, and if you're making it bad for yourself, you're probably making it bad for everyone else too.
Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah,
you gotta be cool. Like, you gotta be comfortable understanding that something may never happen. You know.
Yeah.
And it may just be me in comedy.
Yeah.
Me just telling jokes. But that's when I started. That's the most. That's when it was the most fun. When it was just me telling jokes, because there was no like, I didn't need a festival when I was 3 weeks in.
Yeah,
I just wanted to fucking tell these jokes. You know?
Yeah, I just wanted to be funny.
Yes. So always have that want to be funny.
Yeah.
And then you're doing what you love. You're blessed, bro.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's a good place to end it.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you later.